Peace, everybody. You are listening to the Classroom and the Cell podcast. I am Marc Lamont Hill, and I am joined by
Mumia Abu Jamal. Who else?
Who else, man? The man, the myth, the legend. Look, brother, we are in Philadelphia right now. I am, and we are preparing for a panel with the great brother Dr. Cornel West, who, as you know, is running for president. I'm also joined by the Palestinian freedom fighter, my dear sister, Susan Abu Hawa. I'm also joined by Pam Africa, the Minister of Confrontation, the Philadelphia legend, your sister, my sister. We are here together. And, of course, Gabe Bryant is moderating our conversation. But I said, since we are here about to have this amazing conversation at the Making Worlds bookstore in West Philadelphia, I said, let me bring Mumia in, because they said we're gonna be talking Mumia. I said, well, look, I got Mumia on the phone in a minute, so let's rap a little bit so that people can hear your voice as well, man. First, talk to me about, first of all, our dear brother Cornel West. As you know, he's running for president, taking some heat for it, gotten a whole lot of love for it. What does it mean at this moment in history for him to be doing that?
Well, like many candidates.
This is a call from
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Mahanoy.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
It is more symbolic than anything else. And that's to say that, the politics of present-day America are set in advance in a way. I mean, they're decided before they're decided. And they're decided by think about this. When you listen to reporters talk about elections and campaigns, what do they talk about most? They don't talk about votes much, but they talk about money a great deal. And they rate candidates based on how much money they bring to the campaign. And I've always wondered why they did that, and then it dawned on me. What is that money spent on? That money is spent on media, on commercials. So it's the media talking about money that goes to the media, and they become the medium through which people hear the ideas, or at least the projections of the political candidates. And I say that Cornel is symbolic because he's not part of that program. For one thing, he's not a multi-zillionaire. He doesn't have the resources that most political figures have, but he does have ideas. And when you think about it, ideas should be the most important currency in every political campaign, except in America, where money rules all things. Remember Cream?
Yes, sir.
When you think about the struggles that this man has seen and studied and talked about and been a part of.
This is a call from
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Mahanoy.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
People forget that just a few short years ago, Cornel was threatened with death by white supremacists who were armed with rifles and in uniform in Charleston. And he was in a church that was attacked. And thank the ancestors he got out, but, he was attacked essentially because of who he is and the voice that he has and the ideas that animate him as a democratic soldier. He is a man who has spoken truth to power since his youth, and has been a remarkable public intellectual and scholar who has really thought about the biblical term, the least of these, and the Fanonian term, the wretched of the earth, and spoken on behalf of the poor, the down-pressed. And that makes him quite exceptional.
One of the things that Cornel has been particularly vocal about over the last few months, in particular, certainly since October 7th, has been the U.S. and Israel's role in this genocide in Gaza. Just a few days ago, if not a week ago now, I heard Cornel refer to Joe Biden, President Joseph Robinette Biden, to be precise, for you dignified folk, about he's been calling him a war criminal. He's been calling him a war criminal. And that type of provocative language, that type of courageous speech has been necessary, I think, in this moment where we're pretending that the U.S. is playing a mediator role when, in fact, it is providing the weapons, the money, and the political coverage to allow this imperial war, not even war at this point, genocide, to occur. So when you hear Cornel West out here in the world talking about Palestine, calling out war crimes, and calling for a vision of liberation and justice that doesn't hinge on some liberal two-state solution where Palestinians are still oppressed, even though that two-state solution ain't never going to happen. When you hear him talking about not just, finding a warm and fuzzy democratic vision to hold on to, but an actual radical vision of the world that takes care of the vulnerable. When you hear all of that, what does it make you think? What value do you see that adding to this public conversation and to this political conversation, especially as it pertains to Palestine, but really everywhere that there are, as you said, wretched of the earth?
It warms my heart to hear Cornel speak this kind of truth in this kind of time, in this kind of context and conflict between not Israel and Hamas, as is traditionally reported in the corporate media, but as we've discussed earlier, this is a war between the state of Israel, a settler colonial state, against the people of Palestine. If you think about it in sheer numerical terms, the greatest suffering has been sustained by an estimated 10,000 children who are no longer here. Their mothers, their fathers, their brothers and sisters. And, you can count the death of Hamas people perhaps in the hundreds. But when you see the Palestinian people, it's in the tens of thousands. And that's not even disputed. This is a war against the people of Palestine because this super right or ultra right-wing government is moving to transfer, and they speak about it openly over there, to transfer the Palestinian population out of Gaza to make settler space, to steal whatever land they can take in the name of security. But it's about, I'll use the term that I've always used when I've written about this, and I think it fits, at least historically. When the Nazis invaded people's countries and took their land, they said they needed Lebensraum, German for living room. The Zionists are doing the same thing today on Palestinian territory. And no one, other than Cornel West, is speaking out about it. So he's to be applauded.
Now, the other thing is something that I think you know about. I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure you know about. Political prisoners. Talk to me about what it means at this moment to keep the conversation alive about political prisoners.
Cornel has written about this, has introduced writers such as myself in books, and also spoken publicly about the move, political prisoners, about myself, and about others. And he's done it fearlessly. He's done it with love and attention and time and care. And, most people will say there's no such thing, but every state has prisoners of the state. Every state has prisoners of the state because the state is the enforcer in the state, right? And those who oppose or criticize or dissent from the state are enemies of the state. And I think about Evelyn Williams, right? Most people don't know who she is. Well, she was the aunt of Assata Shakur. And early after Assata Shakur got busted, she was her lawyer. And she was a tremendously effective lawyer, right? She got acquittal after acquittal after acquittal.
Yes.
And she wrote a book called Inadmissible Evidence.
Yes. I love that book.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember what she says? She says every black person who goes in a white courtroom is a political prisoner because there is a cost allayed against that person for being black in a white courtroom that does not attach to a white person who enters that courtroom. You pay a tax, a price for going into that courtroom because that's the nature of the system, right? We used to be able to see that in other contexts, let's say apartheid. Or think about Palestine. We've been talking about Palestine. The people in Palestine, when they go to court in the apartheid state of Israel, they go to military courts. And it's clearer there. It's not so clear here because of neoliberalism. But if you look, you can see it.
We, as Cornel said, we deodorize it. You know, we don't sit with the funk of it.
No. And well, that sounds like a jazz band, don't it?
Yep. Oh, you know, Cornel gonna mix the jazz and the blues in there. That's how he do it. He's a blues man.
I know, and he talks about blues people, and I got several of his records where he's singing in the jump.
Yo, that's what I need from y'all, bro. I need you and Cornel to do an album. I told you,
You have 1 minute left.
I found out you had them vocals, and now you know Cornel gonna make an album between the two of y'all, man. Y'all might get us free just with the music.
Well, listen, ask Cornel what we did when we got together. He come up here with some other good brothers, James Cone, and we started singing. We were singing,
wow.
We're a winner, and never let anybody say that you can't make it. Come on now. You don't hear them. Come on now. We singing in the visiting room. I'm like, go ahead, brother.
That's, I wish I could say I was surprised, but you get Cornel, the great James Cone, rest in peace, and that troublemaking Mumia Abu Jamal, all three of y'all crazy Negroes together, man. Y'all gonna make music, y'all gonna theorize, y'all gonna get us free, y'all gonna do all the things, man. I'm so glad y'all had that time together. And
yes,
when you come home, and you are gonna come home, we're gonna make sure that we get that band together. Cornel gonna be right there in the front.
Get that band together. We're gonna put.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
Love you too, man. On the move. All right, everybody, you've been listening to the Classroom in the Cell podcast. Marc Lamont Hill, Mumia Abu Jamal. Make sure you continue to check out all the content that we have. You can get it by going to the YouTube channel, Marc Lamont Hill Official. You go to the Marc Lamont Hill Official YouTube channel, and you can get all of our previous episodes. You can also hear other great content that amplifies the voices of those who are deemed the wretched of the earth, those people who are the least of these in that tradition of James Cone we just referenced. All of that you can catch right here on the channel. Also, you can hit the like button so that YouTube algorithms know y'all rock with us. Hit the subscribe button so you can get to be part of what we do every single day. Hit that little bell so you get updates and notifications when the stuff comes out. And, of course, if you're so inclined, hit the join button. Become a monthly subscriber to the channel, or just go to Cash App and drop us a little something to help support the platform. Cash App MLHTV. Cash App MLHTV. I love y'all. Talk to y'all soon on the move.